Alright guys, I am back with my review of MTV's The Challenge Rivals 2, Episode 12, The Island of Misfit Challengers. And this is it. This is the final episode. So it starts off with the whole kayak situation. And I said in my review last week that it was probably Marlon and Jordan's kayak that flipped over and they were just showing everybody acting all surprised as a way to build suspense. And that's exactly what happened here. It was Marlon and Jordan's kayak that flipped over, which isn't really a big deal because Johnny and Frank were already in the lead. So Johnny and Frank make it to the yacht. We have the last four teams: Paula, Emily, Cook, Cara Marie, West CT, Johnny, and Frank. So now the real final challenge begins. And they have to jump off the super yacht, swim to Nightmare Island, and collect these idols. So you run to the first section, you complete it, you get an idol, you got to run all the way around, put it back, and then go to section number 2. So that's how this whole thing is set up here. So the teams begin the challenge, and Wes and CT make it to the first part, and the first section has these bamboo poles blocking the entrance. So Wes and CT are trying to pull these things out. Johnny and Frank are just watching them. This is something I didn't care for in this challenge because it felt like you were punished for doing well. For example, in section number 2, let's say Wes and CT get there first. They have to take these mini bolt cutters and pop open a chain link fence to gain access to the section. So if they get there first, they have to waste time opening the door, and then Johnny and Frank get to just walk right into the thing. Same thing with Cook and Cara Maria. If they get there first, they got to pop it open, and Paul and Emily can just walk right in. So you're actually punished, and you have to waste time if you're doing well, if you're in first place. So I didn't like that. So the first section is this giant puzzle game. And if you've ever been to Cracker Barrel, it's those little triangle things they sit on the tables, where you kind of have these little golf tees, and you got to jump them over the other tees until there's only one left. And Johnny and Frank are terrible at this. Paul and Emily are terrible at this. So this gives Cook and Cara Maria and Wes and CT the advantage here. They both take the lead. They get to section number 2, and like I said, they have to open the chain link fence. But once they're inside, they have another puzzle. They got to solve a math problem, and then there's a rope that corresponds to the answer. So you cut that rope, you can move on. Well, Wes and CT can't figure out the damn problem, so they just guess and cut a rope, and they're right. So they gain an even bigger lead here. So this was really cool. Cook and Cara Maria look over at Wes and CT's answer, and they realize that they have the same answer, it's just a different colored rope. So they cut that rope, and it's right. Everybody has the same answer. By the way, if you get it wrong and cut the wrong rope, you have to cut all 5, and these are really thick ropes, so it's a huge waste of time. That's why you want the right answer. So the 2 teams I wanted to win are in the lead, although I wouldn't mind Paul and Emily. I've said that before. Paul and Emily actually solve the puzzle, and I think they tell Johnny and Frank the answer or something like that, which was kind of lame, but that's the only reason Johnny and Frank were able to actually get past section number 2. Okay, so the teams move on to section number 3, and this is where everybody's able to catch up because they have to eat nasty crap. Fish soup, beetles, maggots, crickets, all that type of stuff. We've seen it a million times. Fear Factor, these challenge shows. You got to eat a lot of nasty shit. Nobody likes doing it. Cook and Cara Maria are having a very tough time keeping this stuff down. Well, you don't have to keep it down. You can throw up all you want, but they're having a very tough time getting it down. So Paul and Emily show up, and even though Cook and Cara Maria have the lead, Paul and Emily destroy this. They eat everything, they move on, they take the lead. Wes and CT got there earlier, so they're doing pretty well, and they move on. Johnny and Frank are having a tough time. Once again, Johnny is just standing around. Since they got off that kayak and got on the super yacht, Johnny said, "I don't really know if I deserve to be here. I feel like we won on a technicality." Well, now they're in the final challenge. The first section, Johnny's pretty much useless solving the puzzle. He just stands there. Second section's another puzzle. He just stands there. And now he's got to eat some nasty shit, and he can't really do it. He's trying, barely. But it's really just Frank. And Frank is begging him, "Johnny, please help me eat some of this nasty crap. Just shove it down your fucking gullet." And Johnny's really just standing there again. So I don't know what's up with him. It was weird. But Frank, or Wes and CT move on here, and Cook and Cara Maria are still stuck behind. So eventually they move on, and then Johnny and Frank move on too. I don't know if Johnny's like saving himself for the last stretch or what, and trying to act like he's not really into the whole eating nasty crap thing just to save his strength. I have no idea, but it is kind of weird that he's just been standing around this entire time. I feel like he's already got in his mind that he's defeated. Okay, so section number 4 has Wes and CT moving these dead bodies, these fake dead bodies, on the stretcher thing. So both guys have to put a body on, only one body at a time, pick it up, and carry it across a field. And they're doing okay. The bodies are obviously very heavy, and they got to move 20 of these damn things. Paul and Emily, they're very tired, but they're still moving the bodies. Cook and Cara Maria show up, and it's game over for them. They never make it past this section. I think they moved 4. And all the time it took for everybody else to win the game, move on, this was it for Cook and Cara Maria. They could not move the dead bodies. And it wasn't Cook, it was Cara Maria. So while I wanted Cook and Cara Maria to win, even though I would also be fine with Paul and Emily, and I am fine with that, it was Cara Maria basically giving up. And it's like, man, do you not remember everything you fought for? All the jungles, all the elimination rounds, all that bullshit you had to fight through, the politics to get here, and you're going to give up? This shit must have been pretty damn hard, but I mean, Paul and Emily did it. Everybody else did it. So Wes and CT move on. They get the 4th idol. Paul and Emily move on. And this actually looked kind of close here. Johnny and Frank show up, and they're moving the bodies pretty quickly. At one point it said Wes and CT had 18, and Johnny and Frank had 15 bodies. And I'm like, damn, they caught up pretty fast. But I think it was edited to look that way, because Wes and CT win the game as Johnny and Frank are making it to the 4th section. So I think all of this was bullshit. Johnny and Frank were very, very far behind. It just wouldn't have been very exciting to watch, so they kind of played around with the editing here. So that's pretty much what happens. Wes and CT move on to section 4. They have to dig this tunnel, go underneath it, grab the 4th idol, and then make it back to the beach, place the idol, and get this trophy thing, take it to TJ on the yacht. That was it. Wes and CT win. I'm very happy about this. CT said it's been 10 years. He definitely deserved this victory. I think he's made it to the final 6 times, he said, and has never been able to win. So this was really cool that they won. This was definitely my favorite team. Cook and Cara Maria gave up. So Paul and Emily went for the girls. And that was it pretty much. The only thing left was the reunion. I did watch that. I thought a lot of it was very, very boring. But one interesting thing, I guess you could say it was interesting, that happened on the reunion was Knight slapping Frank. And he said that he was pissed off at Frank for what he said about Jimmy. And I guess he's referring to when Frank said Jimmy's like the ugliest person to ever be cast on one of these shows. So Knight slaps him in the face, and they carry him off. But I felt like the whole thing was really staged. I think this is bullshit, personally. I know a lot of stuff on reality shows is bullshit, and I don't think this was any different. I think this whole thing was set up to get people talking and to watch it, and it was hailed as being live and everything. and Knight kind of slapped him, but then he was just like grabbing at his face. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but it seems like if he was really pissed, he would have just started laying into the guy, because you're already going to be carried off after you've slapped him. And then he just kind of pokes his face. Very strange, but I think it was set up. So that was the reunion. I think CT was drunk. But yeah, it was kind of bizarre. But anyways, as far as Rivals 2 goes, I really liked this season. I thought it was a great season. One of the best seasons the challenge has ever had, in my opinion. Really happy with the winners. Paul and Emily did deserve this victory. Even if you were a big fan of Cook and Cara Maria, you have to give credit where it's due. Paul and Emily did deserve this. The only thing I hope now is that MTV doesn't make us wait forever before we get another season. Sometimes they'll give us 2 a year, sometimes 1 a year. I'm hoping we get another one relatively soon. But anyways, great season. Hope you guys like this video. Leave your thoughts on the season in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye. So that's how this whole thing is set up here. So the teams begin the challenge, and Wes and CT make it to the first part, and the first section has these bamboo poles blocking the entrance. So Wes and CT are really a big deal because Johnny and Frank were already in the lead. So Johnny and Frank make it to the yacht. We have the last 4 teams: Paula, Emily, Cook, Cara Marie, Wes, CT, Johnny, and Frank. So now the real final challenge begins. Alright guys, I am back with my review of MTV's The Challenge Rivals 2, Episode 12, The Island of Misfit Challengers. And this is it. This is the final episode. So it starts off with the whole kayak situation, and they have to jump off the super yacht, swim to Nightmare Island, and collect these idols. So you run to the first section. You complete it, you get an idol, you got to run all the way around, put it back, and then go to section number 2. And I said in my review last week that it was probably Marlon and Jordan's kayak that flipped over, and they were just showing everybody acting all surprised as a way to build suspense. And that's exactly what happened here. It was Marlon and Jordan's kayak that flipped over, which isn't